start with a slow piece in Daltra. Thank you very much. That is our performance for today. One more thing I have to mention that International Indian Classical Music Festival is what he puts on, and these are the very best from India and Pakistan. India, which is music, there's no boundaries for music, as we all know. No religious race, no caste, music. So please, let's support each other and not divide ourselves into smaller communities. We're all from the subcontinent. Thank you.
Thank you for your performance and the little pep talk. I now have the pleasure of inviting the MC for the remainder of the night. He's an active and involved individual, a community leader, an established entrepreneur, a radio host, and very well known around the community for hosting events. Many of you know him well, and he needs no further introduction. Please join me in welcoming Sean Ali.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take this mic so you could hear me better. I've been in denial that I don't need glasses to read, but I sure do. And we all do, including MLA Irfan Sabir. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking time out and being here this evening. I would like to recognize that we gathered here at the traditional land of Treaty 7. Feel free to take pictures, make videos, go live on social media as long as it is allowed. During the fundraising part, we will request not to do that. As it's been mentioned earlier that we gathered here to support Irfan Sabir and to become part of his nomination and announcement for Calgary-Bhullar-McCall riding for 2023 election. This is probably one of the most diverse riding, I could say. I'm sure Brampton is another one, or Surrey, BC, another one, but if this is not it is one of the most diverse riding. I could see this beautiful mosaic of multicultural Canada. Let's give a huge round of applause to those artists who just performed there. From coast to coast to coast, this is one of the most beautiful country we call home, Canada. And what makes this country unique is, other than the landscapes we have and lakes we have and the people we have, this the liberal democratic society and the system we have in this country. And you're here, that is the answer that we support democracy, we all believe in democracy, and we want to be part of this. As you all know, ex-Premier Rachel Notley was supposed to be here, but she's contracted COVID-19 and she's in isolation. She couldn't make it tonight, but we have a very special guest, and I am going to introduce him to you so he can take the podium. We have here with us MLA Joe Ceci. He's the MLA for Calgary-Buffalo, serving his second term as MLA. During his first term, MLA Ceci served as the President of the Treasury Board and Minister of Finance. He was one of the finest finance minister this province ever had. And not just that, another thing made him very special, and that is he had visited Northeast Calgary more times than any other finance minister of Alberta. He deserves a round of applause for this. We all live in Northeast, right? Yeah. Joe Ceci is well known for dedicating more than 30 years of service in strengthening the Calgary's communities and serving Albertans. Prior to being MLA, he served on Calgary City Council for a long time, where he helped to establish the Canadian Coalition of Municipalities Against Racism and Discrimination. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming MLA Joe Ceci.
You sneak that way and I'll sneak this way. Please do, yeah. Hi, everybody. I would have been here sooner. I don't know Northeast Calgary that well. I took 2 loops of Saddletown Crescent before I figured it out. Yeah, I blame Siri for that. What? Okay, I'll hold the mic. Thank you, Irfan. I don't know if it's on. There, it's on now, isn't it? Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for waiting for me. It's the quickest I've ever come down from Edmonton. And I don't think I got a ticket. Yet. Anyway, it's a good evening to all of you. I'm looking around, I see some folks I know, and I see some friends I want to get to know later. I hope you all are enjoying yourself, and we're here for Irfan Sabir. I see my colleagues, Jasveer, Dial is here, and I know Kathleen. Where's Kathleen? Kathleen's right there. There's Julia Hayter. Are there other? Parmeet Singh is right here. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. Oh, I did. I passed him on the way in, and I almost ran into him on the way in. Hi, Gurinder. Good to see you. Good to see you. So you know my name, it's Joe Ceci, MLA for Calgary-Buffalo, and I want to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered here today on the territory of the signatories of Treaty 7, and we recognize the Métis people who share a deep connection with this land. Friends, it is such a pleasure to be here tonight, because our party is nominating an all-star candidate for the people of Calgary-Bhullar-McCall, my friend and colleague, Irfan Sabir. Irfan. You're gonna have to get a little more excited than that. I got it. This is very exciting for me. I've known Irfan for many years, and there's no one better to serve this community for the people of Calgary and for all Albertans. But before I get into more about Irfan, I'd like to, and why he is going to be the MLA for Calgary-Bhullar-McCall again and for another 4 years, I'm going to offer some words from our leader, Rachel Notley, who is watching from home. Hello, Rachel, wherever you are. Rachel contracted COVID, but I've spoken to her, and I was talking to her on the way down. She is recovering. She will be back to this constituency, working to support the people living here very soon. I should also note that this is my second time speaking for Rachel today. I've already delivered a speech to the Alberta Municipalities meeting in Edmonton this morning on her behalf, and I think I did pretty good. I do say so myself. I'm trying to not let all the power go to my head, but I think Alberta's NDP leader, Joe Cece, has a nice ring to it. All right, yeah. I was pushing that one, I knew. Anyway, Rachel wanted me to say the following. She wanted me to say, congratulations, Irfan. I was really looking forward to watching my good friend get nominated and also to meeting again with so many of his supporters. Irfan has been a hard-working member of our caucus, an excellent justice critic, and an unrelenting voice standing up for the people of Northeast Calgary. No, she's not done. She has a lot to say. His fearless advocacy draws from a deeply held set of personal principles that are focused on fairness, equality, and justice for every Albertan, not just the rich and well-connected. Irfan was a reliable member of our cabinet when we were in government throughout all of our term. I look forward to seeing him take this dedication to his community and his strong belief in public good to help make the change we all need to see when we're in government once again. She's not done. She's not done. Congratulations to the people of Calgary-Bhullar-McCall on nominating one of the best MLAs in our legislature. And thanks, too, for all you're doing going forward to helping my friend Irfan get back to the legislature to carry on his work for all Albertans. That's the message from Rachel. Thank you a lot for that. Okay, let's get to some important stuff. Let me tell you what I know about Irfan. He is determined. Irfan got his social work degree, just like me, but he went further, a lot further, earning his master's in social work and a law degree, all the while supporting himself by working hard and paying his own way. Irfan stands up for what's right. He's a fierce defender of human rights, a relentless pursuer of social justice. Irfan is a community leader. As one of the hardest working members of the House, I know he is always taking meetings and talking to his constituents about how to make their lives better. He fits in more meetings during a day when he's back in the constituency than I do. He fits in 2 or 3 or 4 meetings a night, always going above and beyond. Another thing about Irfan, he's also considered, I don't know if you know, but he's also considered one of the best dressed MLAs, certainly in the NDP. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret about all of that. His tailor, that's my guy. I introduced him to him. Irfan only looks good because of me, folks. I think he only started wearing glasses because of me, eh? I don't have to wear them anymore, but he does. And I'm truly thrilled to be his mentor. In fact, I'm trying to teach him to cross-country ski right now. It's going. Irfan, look what I brought you, a little cross-country ski hat. It's got my name on it. So if you get lost in the ski trails, people will know to find you and they'll send you back home. In all seriousness, I have seen Irfan's work as a minister. He has handled immensely challenging files with compassion and care. He made real improvements in the lives of our most vulnerable in this province. He made critical investments in fighting poverty, something near and dear to my heart, strengthening child intervention, and protecting persons with disabilities. You should clap for that. The contrast can't be more clear at a time when we see the UCP government passing policies that harm our most vulnerable and push more people closer to the edge of poverty and onto the streets. You know, it was a very proud thing when we were able to stand up and say that we had reduced child, as a result of the policies directed by Irfan and the NDP government at the time, we were able to say we reduced child poverty in this province by half. Incredibly, in a province this rich, there were 80,000 children who were in poverty. With the support and efforts of the NDP government, just over 4 years, we were able to reduce that by half. And we need to get back there so that we can finish the job. And I've seen his work as an opposition critic. He has raised his game since the very first time I've seen him. He's a well-reasoned and feisty debater, never failing to impress the House, even those across the aisle. Of course, I have to give him some guidance from time to time on what to heckle, how to heckle, and when to heckle. But now he flies on his own. He stands up for Albertans against a government that is getting things so wrong. We've been through a tough time with this pandemic, there's no doubt about it. But when the UCP says privatizing hospital care is the only solution, Irfan fights for patients and for our doctors and nurses and frontline healthcare workers. He's not letting anyone destroy our public health care. And when the UCP raises costs on family, increasing income tax, school fees, tuition, utility bills, car insurance, you name it, you can count on Irfan to stand up for families too. When hail rained down and damaged homes in this community, who stood up for the community? Irfan. He knows that politics is about power, is about people, not power. Let me just say that once more. He knows that politics is about people, not power. And unlike the UCP, Irfan has earned the trust of his community and is dedicated to keeping it. That's why we need more people like Irfan. That's why we need to re-elect Irfan to the NDP government in 2023. Almost done. So let's work hard for him. Keep knocking on doors for him. Keep sharing our positive vision for the future of Alberta with everyone you see. Wear your NDP orange proudly. Without further ado, Irfan Sabir! Irfan. Don't get lost.
Thank you, Joe. That was a speech. Thoroughly. And thank you to our dear lady, Rachel Notley, for those kind words. I know she's watching. And I know we all wish her well. And there will be many opportunities for her to visit this beautiful riding. There's a lot of work that we can do together. It means I need to start all over again. Well, I started with thanking Joe for really nice speech, nice introduction. Thank you, Joe, and Joe drove down all the way from Edmonton, so certainly that means a lot to me. And also I do know that our dear leader, Rachel Notley, who is recovering from COVID, she's watching, so I want to thank her for the kind words. And also I'm sure that there will be many opportunities that she can visit this riding, this community. There's a lot more work that we can do together. So thank you, Rachel. And thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us in person or virtually. Some people are joining us online as well. And thank you to my MLA colleagues, Kathleen Ganley and Jasveer Dayal, for joining me here today. I would also like to recognize that in spirit of reconciliation, that we live, work, and play on the traditional lands of Blackfoot Confederacy that consists of Siksika, Piikani, the Kainai, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda First Nation, comprising of Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nation. And I will also recognize Métis people of Alberta Region 3 who share a deep connection with this land. And let me start by saying that it's an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you. And I know MLACC has spoken at length also about issues facing this province, even this riding, and the opportunities that lie ahead of us come election 2023. So I will be relatively brief. The last 2 years have been difficult due to the outcomes of the pandemic and because of the choices the UCP government made. We have lost almost 4,000 Albertans to COVID. Many more Albertans have fallen sick, and many are still recovering and dealing with the long-term impact of COVID-19. UCP has claimed that Alberta has handled the pandemic better than other provinces, but we have seen significantly lower rates of vaccination uptake and more needless infections and deaths because of the choices made by Premier Kenney and the UCP. The UCP pitted our economy against the pandemic, causing catastrophic failures, catastrophic outcomes for both, all the while continuing their attack on the healthcare system and on those who work in it. Because of the UCP policies, we saw Alberta leading infection rates throughout this pandemic and over hospital capacity at the brink of collapse many times. We saw the thousands of surgeries canceled, many of whom who live in Northeast Calgary as well, and Albertans denied care they needed while facing serious illnesses. It's clear that the UCP mishandled the pandemic. And what is their solution to help a healthcare system that has been pushed to its limit? Further privatization. That simply cannot happen. Access to healthcare should never, ever depend on one's ability to pay. People should get healthcare as of right. To present that solution to Albertans after 2 years of extreme stress on our hospitals and frontline staff, it's simply disrespectful and wrong. We need a government that supports and believes in the fundamental principle of public health care. We need a government that supports Alberta, and we cannot trust that the UCP has the interests of Albertans at heart. We saw this in how the UCP minimized the effect of this virus and how they spread misinformation and racism during this pandemic. We saw increases in hate-motivated attacks on Albertans over the course of this pandemic, and how the UCP comments at press conferences and in the legislature adding fuel to this issue. Instead of leading the province, we saw a government who blamed people living right here in Northeast Calgary for spreading COVID-19. We saw a government who cheered on groups displaying symbols of hate at rallies and protests against public health measures, and ignored the importance of race-based data collection. We know the pandemic disproportionately affected minorities, and we can't trust the UCP to pay attention to this significant problem. Additionally, damaging are the UCP policies against education and other services that Albertans rely on every single day. This budget that they presented, once again, ignored Northeast Calgary, and there is still no school in this budget for the growing communities of Northeast Calgary in Redstone, Skyview, Cityscape, those communities. Under this government, Albertans are paying more in school fees, more tuition for post-secondary, more for insurance, more on their utility bills, more on taxes, all the while prices of oil are at their highest. Yet the UCP are more interested in lining the pockets of their corporate friends and balancing their bucks on the back of our communities, leaving Albertans on their own to fend against the rising cost of living and inflation. We can all agree that's not fair and it's reckless. But we need to do something to enact change. We can demand better, and we can do so in 2023 elections. There is no question that the upcoming election is an important one, and a lot depends on the outcome of those elections. We have a trusted and tested leader in Rachel Notley, who stood by Albertans even when oil prices were falling below $30. Instead of austerity and cuts, she went on to build new hospitals, Calgary Cancer Center, new schools, including funding for right here in Calgary-Bhullar-McCall for the field outside Genesis Center. She invested in post-secondary, introduced policies to protect the environment, and invested in infrastructure that Alberta needed to rebound. She governed this province with compassion, competence, and integrity. And I'm so pleased that she is running again to be the premier of this province. She did it in 2015, and certainly with all your support, we can do it again in 2023. We can work together to build a province that works for everyone, that includes everyone, not just a select few. We can end the UCP mismanagement of this province and this pandemic and focus on issues facing families and Albertans and on a recovery that leaves no one behind. We have done significant consultations on a wide range of topics to understand what Albertans need for the future. From those conversations, we have put together proposals focused on economic recovery and building towards long-term growth, including diversifying our economy, securing and growing jobs, connecting the province through province-wide internet, accessible childcare, and opportunities for young people with investment in post-secondary. You can review them and get involved in shaping those policies at albertafutures.ca. In the end, I want to say that I fully recognize that it's an absolute honor and privilege to represent the people of Calgary-Bhullar-McCall in the Alberta legislature. And I pledge to you to continue standing up for you, your families, and for things that matter to our communities. That is why I'm pleased to seek re-election as part of Alberta's NDP team, as part of Rachel's team, and it's with immense gratitude and pride that I accept this nomination. thank you so much, and let me say this again, that I will stand for a strong public health care, and a strong public education system, economic security, and affordable insurance and utility bills, and a competent and trustworthy government. I'm hoping to earn your trust and support again. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening.
Is this you for me?
No, this is for somebody else.
Kathleen, come here.
Yo, Sean, nice job as always.
Thank you. I was interacting on social media, and these young kids, they know seriously how to celebrate things. And I heard somebody saying, OMG, OMG, CC was really, really funny. So thank you for being funny, for very articulate and very focused. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge round of applause to MLA Joe Cici, MLA Irfan Sabir. We have some more special guests, and one of them is MLA Kathleen Gunley. I would like to introduce her to you so she can talk to you. She currently represents the Calgary Mountain View and was previously elected in 2015 to represent Calgary-Buffalo. She's official opposition critique for energy and natural gas. She's a lawyer by profession, and she had served as the Minister of Justice and Minister of Aboriginal Affairs for the province of Alberta under the Rachel Notley's previous government. And she never called any police chief for any tickets during her tenure, ladies and gentlemen. So please join me in welcoming MLA Kathleen Gunley.
Thank you so much, and I know you've all been here for a while now, so I will be incredibly brief. I just want to take a moment to congratulate my colleague on his nomination. I don't know if many of you know this about Irfan, but he is what we call a House leader in government. So that means he's in charge of our strategy in the House in a lot of instances. I've had the opportunity to watch him do that, and he is absolutely phenomenal at it. I think the last thing I'd say about Irfan is the reason that you should come here tonight, you should come support him, you should knock on doors for him, you should raise money for him, is because he will stand beside you. He will stand up anytime anyone is facing hardship, anytime anyone is facing discrimination, and he will make an amazing MLA. Thank you. And I'm going to hand this to someone. There you are.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Watching. Alberta's NDP is working hard to build Alberta's future and to build a future that involves all Albertans. The momentum is building. If you want to be part of it, join us at albertasndp.ca.